I've built a lot of hidden bunkers in my time. I think they're really cool. I enjoy working on them. There's something about making a secret base that I always find entertaining. But I've been thinking, wouldn't it be really cool if we built a very unhidden bunker? A bunker that doesn't try to hide itself away. Instead, it shouts to everyone where it is. Like the complete opposite of a hidden bunker, an unhidden bunker. I love this idea, I think it's genius. Now obviously because we don't have to worry too much about hiding this thing, I thought it would be cool to have a little elevator entrance. So what this is a little house that sits on top of the land, and then we open up the doors, we stand on some blocks here, and then we get dropped down into the bunker. It will feel very Iron Man. Now this elevator doesn't have to be particularly complicated. I'm just picturing a tiny little flight, probably down to around about here, and obviously it's going to be making use of a slime block flying machine, which for some reason I really struggled to construct. I don't know what's going on. You know, some days I have days where I just forget how to build even the most basic of redstone contraptions. Anyway, this system is now working really nicely. Check this thing out. So we do that, and then the elevator goes back up to the top, and then if we want to get out of this place, all we have to do is hit this button right here. That will request the elevator downwards, and then up we go. Oh, I've died. I got my head stuck on a block. Okay, just completely ignore that. It does work. Now, I quite like the idea of having another set of doors in this area here that open up as the elevator arrives, because let's face it, this elevator shaft is pretty ugly. We don't want to be able to see this from the inside of our bunker. So I think I'm going to try my best to cover it up just a tiny bit. Right, let's see how well this works then. So we go down in our little elevator, we walk off, and then the doors open. Nice! I like this system. This is pretty cool. Now let's start building up the actual chamber of our bunker. And I think I'm going to go for a fairly kind of warm and homely vibe on the inside of here. I think we're going to go for brick, a little bit of wood and things. And Joe, I don't think I've ever placed lanterns before. I think that might be my first ever placed lantern. And just so you know, it's not going to be staying there, alright? That's not a decorative thing at this point in time. I just needed some light in here, but then I thought I'd comment on it. Right, this is looking rather lovely. Very nice. I think we now need to start adding a few more things that make this a little bit more unhidden, because I can't help but notice that at the minute it just looks like a small build. So I guess in each one of these little holes right here I should have some form of device which draws attention to our bunker. That seems like a funny way to go. So first things first, I like the idea of us having some flares, like a flare that we can fire out from this area here. So I guess, yeah, button, give it a press, it will shoot up to the sky. Now, I weirdly struggled with this for quite a long time, but I think I've managed to get a system that actually works. So it is hidden away. That actually works really nicely. So it's hidden away, and then the firework gets shot out, and we get a huge red ball. I like this system. Anyway, next up, we have got the sound machine. Now, I'm definitely going to regret this, so I'm going to make it toggleable, because otherwise you're not going to enjoy the rest of the video. But I think it is very important that not only do we have the visuals of the flares and things, but also we should be able... Oh, should I add a redstone clock to that flare? Alright, we'll do that in a second. I can't help but get myself distracted with new ideas. But yeah, we definitely need to have the audio of the bunker as well, which is... Yeah, this isn't going to sound good. It's not going to be good audio. I'm definitely no musician, so let's see what we can do here. How far away can you hear bells from? Oh. That's hurting my head. But, you know, I think we can go further than this, so I'm going to chuck a few of these into the mix too. In fact, I should actually mix up the type of notes that are being played. I can't help myself. I need to add more into the mix as well. Right, how bad could this possibly sound? That's like an alarmingly bad noise. That's amazing. It's almost slightly harmonic with how awful it sounds. Moving swiftly on from that one, I thought it would probably be smart if we actually got ourselves set up with some form of actual bunker thing. So I've got my crafting benches, I've got my furnaces, and I've got my beds all in place. That's pretty much everything we need down here. Don't worry, I'll sort out the food situation a little bit. I've got an idea for that too. Next, I think we should send out zombies. We should send zombies out into the environment that are hopefully going to gather up people and bring them into our bunker. That's the goal here. Remember, for anyone who's confused, we want this to be as unhidden as possible. The least hidden bunker in the world. I'm running into a frustrating problem where my zombie is falling through my double piston extender. I mean, look, you can see I have gone to town with this guy. He has got all of the attributes, but he's getting stuck. I think it has something to do with the one-tick pulses and the spitting out of the blocks. Yet, with a slightly different double piston extender design, now everything is working. And look at this guy. I mean, how could you not come in? His head is made of cake, okay? He's glowing. My bunker is nearby. Please come in. With a smiley face. I mean, that's about as welcoming as it comes. There's something kind of scary about that. That absolutely terrifying music that started playing as I looked at him certainly didn't help either. Right, next up, I would say it's very important that we have ourselves some form of rainbow beacon. That's really going to draw attention to ourselves. And I've got to say, once again, it's been ages since I've built anything like this. So I kind of struggled a little bit. Especially because I didn't really have too much space, but in theory this should work. So the grass will be removed out the way. We've got our beacon down at the bottom here, and then we have all of the colours. And that seems to function quite nicely. Now obviously we do get the white flash, but there's nothing you can do about that when you're using piston feed tapes. If you don't want the white flash, then you have to have huge layers of glass going upwards, which once again we didn't have the vertical space for. But I gotta say, this is working quite nicely and also is noisy. So if we couple that with this... That is so silly. Right, with those bits done, let's actually work out our food situation. And I think in typical fashion with this, we're gonna have to go for the loudest type of food farm that I can think of. And that's actually quite tricky. What would be the loudest... What is the loudest way to get food in Minecraft? Honestly, I'm not sure. I think there's a pretty high chance that mobs in water, like cows in water, that has to be up there. Surely that has to be one of the loudest. Let's find out. I mean... Oh yeah. Oh yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. It's even visually loud. This is a visually loud thing. There's a lot going on here. I think we could do with the second one, but this time with sheep. Perfect. So now we have two different types of food sources, and they're also really loud, so that if anyone walks past, they're definitely going to be able to know that our bunker is here. Our quest to be as unhidden as possible is almost completed, but I feel like there's one extra thing that we could really do with. And I would say it's a fairly obvious one. You know, it's the first thing that came to mind when I came up with this project, but I wanted to save the best till last. Because we're going to make a gigantic light-up sign. A huge Vegas-style sign with an arrow pointing down to the bunker. I mean, it's just a requirement, isn't it? So, this is what I've got so far. I think this is a fairly solid start. And now I'm just going to start chucking the observers in place, which will allow our redstone lamps to light up in kind of like a banner formation. Now, I have to say... I've said this millions of times, right? But I really love observers because before we had observers, doing these sorts of signs was an absolute nightmare. In fact, one of my earliest videos was on disco lighting. If you really want to, you can go back and find it. Right, let's give this thing a whirl then. So, I've just activated the big sign. That hasn't really gone to plan, has it? Quite embarrassing. Okay, let's try that again. I mean... It does work. It is working. I think maybe we need to slightly, just a tiny bit, we need to sync up where these are coming across. Okay, so let's see if we can do this. I guess if we just run... Yeah, if we use pistons for this and then have them split into two lines, a little bit like that, with a monostable circuit to shorten the pulse just a tiny bit so that these observers aren't causing any flickering, now we have a much more uniform result. That actually looks quite good. But I think there's one extra thing that we can add into the mix, and that, of course, is these. Alright, well, I think we've made the least... hidden bunker in the world. In fact, you know what? I'm going to flick all the levers at once. So obviously we've got this running. I'm going to get myself a handful of zombies as well, just out in the open. Okay, I'd say there's a decent number of those. Good stuff. What else have we got here? Oh yeah, the rainbow beacon. Yeah, that's necessary too. This is total chaos. This is total chaos. But I think we've done well. I think we have created the least hidden bunker in all of Minecraft. We've achieved what we set out to do. But what we set out to do was utterly stupid. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya! And at this point, I feel like I should mention that you should probably check the date that this video was uploaded. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? I mean, clearly, this was not a serious idea for a video in the slightest. It's so stupid. But we took it to the next level. That's what's important, is that we set out with a goal and we achieved it, despite the fact that the goal was ridiculous.